Good morning, y'all. Today I can't wait to show you around a beautiful town here in southwest Georgia. It's one I've overlooked for a long time, but I'm not overlooking it today. It's Americus, Georgia, and I hope y'all will stick around and take a walk with me, and let's go check this town out and see what it has to offer. Americus was founded in 1832, and it's the home of the Windsor Hotel, which is a very famous hotel, which is a magnificent building. Can't wait to show y'all. But it actually has the entire downtown area. Most of these buildings were built post-Civil War, right after Civil War. Americus became very wealthy when the railroad came through in around 1850. Actually was one of the wealthier towns in southwest Georgia. But I want to give you all a shot of how beautiful this town is and some of the buildings here and just how gorgeous they are. Just take a look at this view on this block, just down this one block, and it just continues on. It's just as beautiful at every turn. I have to confess, I have been through Americus no less than hundreds of times and have overlooked this town for years. Not really paid attention. I was always headed to a job, always going to work somewhere, and I was focused on where I was going and what I had to do, and never really paid any attention, and I can't believe it. But today we're going to look at this beautiful, beautiful town. Now this is the Windsor Hotel. It opened in 1892. Now the hotel was almost lost at one point. It was in such a state of deterioration, but it was renovated and they brought it back to life, and now it's basically the crown jewel of Americus. It's a very famous hotel here in southwest Georgia. Now isn't that just something? I mean, the grandeur of this hotel, the grandeur of this building is amazing. And that's what we were looking at on the side street a little bit ago. But it's not just the Windsor Hotel. Every block, like I say, every block is just magnificent. Now the Windsor Hotel actually encompasses, I think, the entire block. We'll walk down this street and we'll just take a look. I'm just going to show you some of these buildings as we walk. That building says Marlowe Block. I'm not sure. That looks like that at one point was probably a hotel as well. Here's a side view of the Windsor. There are some other shops and things down here, but the building, the entire Windsor Hotel, it is above all of this. There's some stores, or what used to be stores, or still some existing stores in the bottom level. But the top is still the Windsor Hotel. Just a picturesque, like a picture postcard, with these beautiful trees lining the sidewalks all the way down the sidewalk, and then the buildings stand here with such grandeur. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Now this, it says that the Barlow Block. I assume each block has its own name because the building across the street says the Thomas Block. Now this is the Thomas Block. Look at that building there. Just the detail, ornate detail up at the top, and the way they're designed. Each one is just utterly amazing. And like I say, I have been through this town. I have driven these streets so many times, and I'm always focused on what I have to do and where I have to be. But today I'm actually appreciating what I see in front of me, which is Absolutely beautiful. I checked on the rate of the Windsor Hotel. If you would like to come to Americus and stay in an iconic hotel like the Windsor Hotel, the rates for this time of year, which is late June, almost July, was $154 per night, which is not terribly bad. I mean, that's not a really bad rate. I'm here early on a Saturday morning, and the streets are pretty, I mean, the traffic is pretty busy right now. I'm sure it will increase exponentially later. But let's just, up here we've got, this building says the Byne, B-Y-N-E block, and it says 1887. I'm not sure what this building here is. I'll have to go around on the other side and take a look. The window pane is busted out up there, but I love the design, and I love the way those windows are made. They're rounded with a double rounded window at the top. Let's take a walk around and see what this building is. And this is the Windsor, the side shot of the Windsor Hotel. It was in my background. This just looks like something that would be, to me, in another country, and I'm sure it was inspired by, another country. That's the way most buildings are, but that style is just, it stands out because it's just so different. This building is Citizens Bank of Americus. It looks like it's vacant right now. I don't, the entire floor, there's some renovations going on, but the entire building, the floor there is gutted. Fortunately, it looks like they are redoing the building, because I see a lot of new lumber and the fan in there. But this at one time was the Bank of Americus. Americus, like I said, became very wealthy when the railroad came in. It kind of was transformed from a small agricultural community to a transportation hub, and a lot of money was made from cotton at that time. As you can see, it had to be a fairly wealthy town to have such elaborate and beautiful, massive buildings built here. They just continue on and on and on. I'm going to try to walk around and just show you some of these buildings, and I don't know the details on all of them, but I just want to marvel at how they're made and their beauty. See a very large building down here with a dome on top. That may be the courthouse. I'm going to walk down here. I'm feeling a few drops of rain. I checked the weather report and it just said mostly cloudy. It didn't say anything about rain, but you never can tell. There are quite a few homes here lining the streets. I'll show a few of those too before I end the video. From the 1800s to early 1900s. There are a lot of those. Considering there were a lot of wealthy people here, there are going to be a lot of nice homes. This actually is a church. I thought it was the courthouse, considering the style of the building, but this is the First United Methodist Church. And now let me get back and get a better view, because it has a huge rounded dome on the top, but I don't think I've ever seen a church quite like that. And here's a view of some of the beautiful homes along here, and that one in particular just stands out. But they line the streets, and there's another church right there, and there is a massive house down there that I want to to show y'all as well. I have never in my life seen a church built like this one. I'd love to see the inside of it. Let me get a view of the dome around here. Look at those columns though. I mean, just hope this shows up in the video. Look at the top of those columns and the detail. And then up at the top of the building there, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. I don't think I've seen a church ever made like that. A few more of the old homes along the street here. Now this is a side view of the Methodist Church. Have y'all ever seen anything quite like that in a church? Look at the detail in the windows, in the stained glass windows. Just look at all the detail and how they're designed. I would love to see the inside of that church. I'm sure the inside is just as grand as the outside. That's really something. Now, I don't want to focus too much on people's houses because I really wouldn't want anybody filming my house, but I just wanted to show this one as I walk by here. The window is up at the top. I've never seen anything quite like that. It has like a overhang built over the window, a little roof over the upper window with a lot of detail, a lot of design. Really a beautiful home. I walked quite a distance from the downtown area and I'm continuing on because when I see one house or one building, then I see another and another and another, and they just continue on and on and on, and it seems like there's one more beautiful thing after another. I don't know if it comes from getting older or where it comes from, but I've started to realize that how fast and how quickly time passes and how much we overlook, how much I've overlooked, and how much I have not noticed of what's around me because I'm focusing on one particular thing. I kind of have a one-track mind. When I focus on something, I'm focused on that and I stay on that. That says William Murray, attorney at law. And I thought in this building, this old house was abandoned because of how it's grown up. But it appears that it is not. This old house with some TLC would be something else, but it looks like it has kind of gone downhill. I'm going to turn around and head back to town because I'm probably half a mile out of downtown now. I want to go see if there's a coffee shop somewhere, have a cup of coffee, and look around town a little bit more. But what I was saying about slowing down and looking around and noticing what's around you, I think that's something we all need to do because time is not infinite. But time, I don't know if time's infinite, but our time is not infinite. Look at this beautiful tree. Isn't that beautiful? I get sidetracked. But when you start to notice things, you really notice things. When you're focusing, when your mind is focused on one thing, you have a tendency to overlook and not notice a lot. So I think that we need to take time, slow down a little bit, notice what's around us, because there is a lot of beauty in this world and we take it for granted. We take a lot of things for granted and we don't want to wait until it's too late to realize what we've taken for granted. I made my way back to town. I'm going to tell you, I was excited. I was literally excited about making this video this morning. I was amped up coming here, and once I got here, it exceeds my expectations. Let me put it that way. Let me show you this. This is the Americus Presbyterian Church, built in 1884. Next to it is what once was a beautiful home. I think it's something else now. But look at this church. Look at the bell tower and the steeple. Just look at all of the detail just up in the steeple itself. I know I say it a lot. I like this is, the most beautiful building I've seen, but when you see one building after another building after another building, and they just all are so ornate and so beautiful. Look at this. This is the Fellowship Hall. This was built in 1969. This is the Fellowship Hall of the Presbyterian Church, built in 1969. That was during my lifetime. But look at the colored glass on the windows. Now this building says Carnegie Library, 1908. And there's a sign on it now that says Cousins Catering, but it still has the Carnegie Library sign as well. Again, continues on with these beautiful, I'm just keep losing my train of thought, these beautiful trees. I love that mural, that sun mural, butterflies. Isn't that beautiful? I smell food cooking somewhere, and it has my stomach rumbling. Let's see if we can find a coffee shop, get a cup of coffee. There's a bakery and cafe right there. That's what I smell. Let me tell you, it smells amazing. I don't know what has happened, but got a lot of emergency vehicles coming along here, so I'm going to cut it off for a minute. Well, buildings like this are simple in design, but there's beauty in their simplicity. Just in the detail of the vent at the top, the rounded brickwork over the windows, the way the front entrance is made, and just the way they did the little step up in the brick at the top. A lot of buildings have that characteristic, and it just makes them stand out and gives them a beauty. Now look at this building. I don't know what this is or if it's anything now. Don't look at me in the glass. You can overlook that, but the Horn of Plenty, the Cherub, it's just beautiful. I mean, now this at one time was the Empire Bank Building. Like I said, it just continues on and on and on. J.W. Harris and Company. Stoves, crockery. I wonder how old that sign at the top is, because it definitely is not J.W. Harris and Company any longer. But look at the design of that building. Isn't that something? And then we've got the Empire Bank Building across the street there. Here we have the Rylander Theater, Janet's Planet. I don't know what that is, but this says Rylander on the top of this building, 1920. And the next building is Rylander as well, 1916. This is Americus Artist Collaboration Project by Williams. It's kind of tucked away in an out of the way place. It's really not even visible. I guess it would be, but you would not notice this from the street. Which another interesting fact about Americus is that the Habitat for Humanity has its headquarters here. It moved here in 1976 during this country's bicentennial, which I remember very well. I was 11 years old at the time. I think I'm gonna pop in the Windsor Hotel and grab a cup of coffee real quick. I just want to see the inside mainly. But this is the Calvary Episcopal Church. I just wanted to show those beautiful doors there. That the hinges that are on these wooden doors is stunning. I'm really astonished that this town continues to go on and continues to be giving and giving and more giving, because it just seems to never stop. I was on my way out of town. I was gonna try to include some of the old cotton warehouses, because cotton is how Americus made its money, when I came across the old Campbell Chapel, which is an abandoned church here outside of town. The old stained glass windows are actually falling out of the wood there, which is quite sad. This church originally was built in 1877 and rebuilt in 1920, and I don't know how long it has been abandoned. But like all the history, there's good and bad, and you have to acknowledge the bad and show the bad along with the good. Not that this is bad, it's just, when I say bad here, I just mean that it's kind of sad that it's in the state that it's in. It says here there's a Historic Preservation Fund, African American Civil Rights Grant Program. I really can't tell that anything is being done. It doesn't appear that there's any renovation, other than the fact that they boarded up the windows there. Stained glass has holes in it, and I don't know if that's from just natural deterioration or somebody has thrown something through it. I wouldn't put it past somebody throwing rocks through it, because people love to vandalize things. For what reason, I don't know. I don't know what joy they get out of vandalizing something. Not saying that's what it was, but it's not out of the question either. I could go on and on and on and on, but sometimes I feel like I maybe ramble a little bit. And I don't want to be rambling. I don't want to bore you. I want to keep the videos interesting if possible. So I think for today, I'm going to end it here under this beautiful willow tree in Americus, Georgia. Also with the beautiful backdrop, this amazing backdrop of this home behind me. I want to thank you all for taking a walk with me and a little look at Americus, Georgia. And I hope you appreciated the town as much as I do. And I hope you got something out of the video. If you did, I would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. Leave me a like and a comment. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Until next time, I'm Red. Keep exploring, and y'all have an amazing day.